It started with a rainstorm that didn't just fall. It came at us like it had something to prove. I was standing by the window, sipping on a cup of coffee that tasted like regret, watching water slam against the glass like it was trying to break in. My wife, Kelly, was peeking through the blinds like she expected to see Noah's Ark float by. She turned to me and said, "Aaron, it's getting bad. Like really bad." I looked out, and she wasn't exaggerating. The street was already a fast-moving stream, swallowing up curbs, rolling over lawns, and heading straight for our garage like it had a mission. But I wasn't panicking yet. I told her, "The floodgate at the end of Birch Hollow will hold. Granger built that thing tough before the HOA even existed." I wanted to believe it. I needed to believe it. Then I saw her Linda West, our HOA president. And if you don't already know a Linda in your life, count yourself lucky. She was out there in a highlighter yellow raincoat, wrestling with the old floodgate like she had a score to settle. I squinted. No way. She wasn't. She wouldn't. Kelly leaned in beside me. "She's padlocking it," she whispered. "Oh my God, she's actually locking it." Now, let me tell you something about Linda. She doesn't do anything halfway. If she can weaponize a bylaw, she'll laminate it and swing it like a sword. That floodgate had been her personal eyesore for years, and I guess she saw the storm as her golden opportunity to get rid of it, and maybe a few homes while she was at it. I didn't even grab a coat, just my hoodie, and I ran straight into the mess. "Linda," I yelled, water slapping up against my lips, "you cannot lock that gate, we're flooding." She turned around slowly like she'd been waiting for me. "Aaron," she said, all smug, "I'm just following Section 6. Subpart D. This gate is an unauthorized drainage structure. It's on the removal list." I looked down. Water was already halfway up my shins. "Linda, it's the only thing keeping this street from turning into a canal." She actually smiled, and tapped the shiny new padlock like it was a trophy. Back inside, I was dripping, furious pacing. "She's gonna flood the whole street," I muttered. Kelly was already moving boxes and pulling rugs off the floor. I called the city. Got some guy named Roger who sounded about 10 cups of coffee past caring. "Sorry, sir. Private HOA property. We can't step in unless it's a public safety emergency." "It is a public safety emergency," I snapped. "We're turning into Venice." He gave me the line. "Try working with your HOA. Yeah, that's like trying to teach a cat to swim." I called my buddy Jack down the block, retired vet. "Doesn't take crap from anyone." He just laughed. "I saw her this morning," he said. "Said she was locking it to stop picnic criminals from the next county. The woman's bananas." Then came the flashing lights. Linda had called the cops on me. 2 officers showed up soaked and clearly regretting every career choice that led them here. She greeted them like royalty. This man tried to tamper with HOA property, she declared, wanting at me like she was casting a spell. "I was trying to stop our homes from flooding," I said, gesturing at the rising water, now lapping at the front step. "She locked the floodgate during a storm." The older officer sighed, like this wasn't the dumbest thing he'd seen today. But maybe close. "Sir, if she's the HOA president and it's their property, our hands are tied. Unless it's life-threatening, it's a civil matter." "Civil matter. Right." I stormed into the garage, eyes scanning for something. Anything. And then I saw it. A photo tacked to my workbench. Me and Tom, my college buddy, grinning next to a massive military-looking boat we bought years ago at a government auction for reasons that at the time made perfect drunken sense. "Kelly," I said slowly, do you feel about? A little aquatic problem solving. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. Aaron, that thing hasn't moved in a decade. We live in Missouri, but I was already calling Tom. You still got the boat? He laughed. Yeah, it's still in the barn. You about to start a war? Something like that. An hour later, his mud-caked flatbed came crawling down the flooded street boat, strapped on top like it was D-Day. Neighbors gathered at their windows. Phones came out. Linda's jaw nearly hit the pavement. That is not an HOA vehicle, she shrieked. Just doing my civic duty, I called out. Search and rescue, Maritime Edition. The cops rolled back up, same two guys. The younger one stared like he'd just seen a unicorn. Is that a Coast Guard boat? Decommissioned, Tom said, hopping out. Totally legal. I turned to Linda. 4 minutes to unlock the gate. Or I launch. She laughed in that high-pitched, trying to hide the fear kind of way. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Acme Flood Services rolled in. Just then, 2 guys in orange waders, looking exhausted and mildly amused. They offered to cut the lock. Linda refused. Not without a board vote and treasurer's signature, she snapped. Even they gave up. This ain't a flood zone, one muttered. It's a crazy zone. Tom gave me a nod. We launched. The boat hit the water like it belonged there, floating smooth down my driveway and into the street, now fully resembling a muddy river. Kids cheered from upstairs windows. Officer Peterson, the young one, started filming. This is going viral, I heard him whisper. We puttered down the block at a glorious 1 mile per hour megaphone in hand. Attention residents. This is your Provisional Waterway Authority. Please remain calm. We reached the gate, pulled out a crowbar and a wrench the size of a baseball bat. With a final heave, the padlock popped. The gate swung open, and with it came the water, a tidal surge that roared toward the creek like it was being chased. The street drained fast. Cheers erupted. Linda, she just stood there, soaked, stunned, and silent, like someone unplugged her battery. By the time we docked, or rather gently grounded ourselves on the drying asphalt, the worst was over. Officer Miller gave me a look I'll never forget. Well, Mr. Carter, congratulations on your hydroengineering. We got a $25. I framed it. Linda listed her house a week later. And meh, I'm just a guy with a boat in a garage and a very dry basement. But let me ask you, who was in the wrong here? Me for launching the USS Birch Hollow, or Linda for locking that floodgate and nearly sinking the whole street? Tell me in the comments, ever had a power-tripping HOA moment like this? Hit that like button, subscribe for more neighborhood nonsense. And remember, when reason fails, sometimes you've just got to float your own solution.